Okay, now following the recent UWI fee hike, debate between the University of the West Indies Mona campus administration and students, President of the UWI Mona Guild of Students, Perry Cummings Jr., has raised concern about the potential impact of these fee hikes on students and is calling for the University of West Indies administration to consider or reconsider its decision. Well, with the proposed increase potentially raising the average student's traditional hall fees by 16%, tuition by 10%, miscellaneous fees by 25%, and an increase in Irving Hall fees by 34%, this issue has sparked online debate and petition to roll back the increases, as well as demands for transparency and accountability from the campus administration. Perry Cummings Jr., welcome to Sunrise. Perry, how are you doing?
I am good, for the most part. Thank you for having me.
The son of Perry Cummings. You know, I want to ask you real quickly. I mean, what kind of challenges is being faced by the students now, are being faced by the students now, that would be exacerbated by these increase in price in fees?
Well, for the most part, with these increases, there's a financial issue that students will face. I often put context to the matter. The University of the West Indies is marketed to low-income earners, low-income households. We're in a developing region. We're in a third world country. So it's not as if we can assume that everybody will be able to afford, you know, this type of tuition and fees at that rate. We have to take into consideration the income generating, households. So the financial issues is definitely what most students are worried about, how they're going to be able to afford tuition. That's the biggest issue right now.
Perry, what I want clarity on is, based on the conversations that the Guild has been having with the administration, what is the cost, the increased fees attributed to? For instance, I can see where, all right, the cost of running the plant or the cost of delivering education to the students, okay, that has gone up, so we need to increase tuition by X. But a lot of the fees that we're seeing is the increase in the hall fees. What has changed about the provision of residence on campus? Why the hall fees have gone up by this much? What has been told to you?
So interestingly, last year we would have experienced increases for hall fees, and there were certain demands made from the hall cohort as it relates to amenities, certain things being provided. To date, we have not seen some of those promises being fulfilled. So it puts us into a position, where we have to ask ourselves the question, what's the sense of increases if there is not a return on that investment?
Right.
So
But have they told you that our costs are rising because of?
Yes, so they told us that, of course, and this was a famous line in the media recently from senior administration, somebody has to fund the deficit. Apparently, the university is experiencing deficits across the board. Poor financial decisions over the years at the University of the West Indies has put us in a situation like this one. So in order to fill the gaps, you have to raise something. And if we're going to reach to a particular level as a university, somebody has to feel it.
So what is the percentage of the deficit that the students are being asked to fund?
So that wasn't told to us in black and white. However, we're told that there is a gap, there's a loss that has been incurred over the years, and that continued loss is causing the university to be in a deficit. I was told that the halls of residence are running on deficits as well. But based on research, I recognize that the campus itself, the university as a whole, has been running on deficits.
You know what? I really need to keep this conversation going. I want to ask a very important question, but let's take a quick break and go to the news, and we'll be back. So TK is on standby with the morning news, and we'll be back for this important discussion.
Thanks for staying with us here on Sunrise. We're still with the president of the UWI Mona Guild of Students, Perry Cummings Jr., on this matter of proposed fee increases by the university administration. Perry has raised concerns about the potential impact of these fee hikes on students, and he's calling for the university administration to reconsider its decisions. We are continuing to talk to him about the concerns that he has. IT, I know you had a question you wanted to ask.
I'm particularly interested in how given that this is a problem now, how we navigate the idea of a solution. I've heard that the suggestion is made for an increase in commercial activities to offset operational costs. I'm thinking, how will this plan impact negatively or positively the entire academic experience on campus?
All right, so commercial activities has been proven historically to have a direct correlation between what students pay to the university and what the campus also spends. So I would have read past reports from even our Vice Chancellor, Sir Hilary Beckles, and it shows that with increased commercialized activities, we see where students pay less to the university and the campus spends less overall. Because of course, as you made mention, IT, with increased commercialized activities, these entities would have to pay a certain percentage to the campus for being there. Of course, the university space is very lucrative and there's a lot of business opportunities there. So it's a prosperous move for companies to go on campus. And this is actually in light with our principal, Professor Williams. He also has intentions to have a more commercialized UWI Mona. So yeah, that's definitely a way forward.
What I really want to look forward is in terms of the economic cost of a university education. It has always been high. The government has contributed X and the student contributes Y. You are being asked to contribute more. In going towards a solution, are you saying maybe the government should contribute more? Are you saying that the university should contribute, should raise more money is in terms of the commercialization argument? I want to know, how is it that the students, if it is that everybody must pay some more of making up that deficit, I mean, what are the students going to do going forward?
You mentioned the government, and if persons can remember my candidacy as president, one of the highlights I think was calling on the government to pay more. So the government is moving from an 80-20 model where the government would have provided 80% of students' tuition, students would find 20%. Of course, because of the economic state of our country, we know that over time that would not have been sustainable, understandably so. However, we've seen a decrease and a continued decrease as relates to government's contribution to a government-funded institution. We cannot escape the fact. The reality is that the University of the West Indies is government-funded, and mostly so. But what we've seen where, and you made mention of it, students are required to pay more, but we're not seeing a mutual agreement as it relates to the university asking the government to pay more as well. That also plays a big part in persons' pockets, not crying so much. So we ask for that as well.
What are you studying?
I'm studying politics.
Pretty interesting. Yes, of course. That was Perry Cummings, Jr., President of the UWI Mona Guild of Students. Diaspora Link Up is up next, so don't move.